Hello, Planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations, as always. You've made your way to the Buffington Post.
You are invited!
So tomorrow, Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017, we'll be getting Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, Issue number 5, and so, you know what that means. It's time for viewer feedback.
Exactly.
And so, everyone, I would like to invite you to reach into your super gay Buffy bag and pull out your preferred copy of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, Issue number 4. And in keeping with the theme of Season 11, your I'm definitely not Fred or any kind of magical being who might be considered an enemy to freedom glasses. Because today it's time to talk about what you guys had to say about last month's issue of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Here we go.
Don't make a lot of noise. Passions is coming on.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Alright, Planet Earth, so we're gonna start off with my favorite icon ever. We've got Miss Skullexandria Glumelda. And Glumelda says, I really like the action in this issue. Buffy's plowing through the demons, throwing them around, and Spike's going crazy is a real William the Bloody moment. Yeah, I like the action in the issue too. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Georges Genti's art. When I think about Buffy, I think about the Buffy from seasons 8 and 9. Georges Genti really changed the way I perceive the characters, and I just love having him back. I like the way that he deals with action. I like that he uses the same panel to show 3 or 4 different spaces within the action, so it feels kinetic, but it also feels kind of cartoony at the same way. And I'm so happy to have Mr. Genti back that I've got no complaints. So, thank you, Skullexandria Glumelda. All right, and so next we've got Miss Pilar. And Pilar, are you the same Pilar that likes all of my posts on the Buffington Post Facebook page? If you are, let me know, because I'm pretty sure it's you, but I don't have any evidence to prove it except for your name being Pilar. Anyway, what Pilar has to say is, oh my god, I almost choked when you mentioned Harmony as the next savior. I love your reviews, heart. Yeah, I really think that Harmony could be our ace in the hole, if you will. I think that there's something to be said about the sway that Harmony has had over the Buffyverse since season 8, and we know that she's supposed to be coming back, and so that's a whole thing, and we'll get more into who's also coming back later on. But yeah, I'm kind of banking on Harmony to show up and shake up this whole not an internment camp situation, right? So, anyway, thanks, Pilar. Glad to have you back. So, moving on, we've got Christine Lucius, who at one point says, I love your shirt, where can I get one? I'm not wearing it today, but I do have a Buffington Post shirt. As far as, like, if you want to get one, I mean, my sister made mine for me. She has a monogramming business that she does on the side, and if you'd like, I'll include the link to her website, and as far as shipping and stuff, you'll just have to go through her, because I'm not into the businessy side of it, but I mean, honestly, you could get any monogrammer to do it for you and not have to pay for the shipping costs, but if you'd like to support my sister, you can definitely do so by checking the link to her monogramming business in the comment section below, or in the description below, rather. Anyway, she also says, this issue is so good. I love the artwork. I think Georges Genti on this issue does a wonderful job capturing the dark and dreadful tone of the not an internment camp perfectly. It's definitely not a place that I want to be. She goes on to say, the action is beautiful. Buffy really comes through as a white hat wonder, even though she is drowning in hell. The way she sticks up for people and gives up so much of herself, her blood to Spike, the fights she gets in defending the helpless from those troll bullies, even cutting her phone call short with Dawn to protect someone. She truly is a hero. I'm glad that she is going to be a trustee. I'm sure it won't be all smooth sailing at first, but I know that Buffy can do good here. Her in an authoritative role is what I think she needs. You're right. Buffy's like often super angsty when she's in a super leadership role, but at the same time, it's kind of her calling, especially when you think about the idea that she created all these other Slayers and whatnot. Like, she's the king of them, right? And so I really like that. She goes on to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but season 10 is all about Buffy not wanting to take up the responsibility of rewriting the rules of magic. She doesn't want to be in charge of the books, and so she hands it off to D'Hoffryn. I'm being very general here. She didn't want to work for the police force, nor the army, nor the government, and yes, she has good reasons for that. However, even though she doesn't want cutting up creepy crawlies to start feeling like work, she should consider that that is what she's good at, and people/creatures need her. Now, as far as Buffy doing this professionally, I mean, it goes back to this whole, like, Spider-Man argument that we had back in season 6 in, what was it, Flooded, I think, where she's like, we can burn the house to the ground and collect the insurance money. So I get where you're coming from. I don't want Buffy's job, I don't want her livelihood to be the slaying. We saw what happened in season 8 when she let slaying just completely take over her life, and then we saw in season 9 what happened when she thought that she could just get away from being the slayer. And so there is a balance that needs to be there for Buffy, and if you watched my Buffy as a Poet video, what she should be doing is writing, if you ask me, but that's just me. And anyway, she concludes by saying, also, I'm going to take the time to notice, and I'm sure you've mentioned this in a past video, how the tables have turned in the Buffyverse. For so long, it was Buffy against the vampires, demons, and the forces of darkness. Now, it's Buffy who is standing up for them and their rights. Though it's a bit more complex than that, not all demons are the same, and they have the same capacity for evil as humans, more or less, depending on if they have a soul. It puts Buffy in a place where she can just be a symbol or instrument or slayer for justice, no matter what creature. Maybe there will be some sort of UN alliance for humans and demons alike. Note from your editor here, I did talk about this in my predictions video for issue number 5. One of the problems that I'm having with season 11 so far is the lack of clarity about what exactly we want to do with Buffy. Where are the lines between good and evil? We need to really put the Buffyverse back together in like a more simple way. We need to really do what season 9 promised us, which is go back to basics. I mean, we can't go back to basics because, like I said in my predictions video, like, Buffy's growing up, and when you grow up, you have to explore these gray areas, and not everything is black and white, but I do need for some definition to those lines to be there. And it's kind of frustrating. Yeah, Christine, you make a really good point, but the idea of this, like, UN or alliance for humans and demons, that's basically where we left at the end of season 10, which is where I thought season 11 was going to go. I really thought season 11 was going to be about Buffy leading the Magic Council. However, it looks as though they just did all of that between seasons, which is really one of the most frustrating things about where they've decided to go with season 11. I'm really enjoying what's going on so far, but yeah, we already had this kind of summit situation with the humans and the demons and the forces of darkness and the forces of light, like, coming together to iron out reality, and so I'm really just wondering where all of that is right now. And so, right? But anyway, thank you, Christine. And while we're talking about your comment here and the fact that you really like the artwork, something that I didn't bring up in my review was this picture here. Georges Jeanty does this amazing thing with really making Buffy look and feel small. I love in this image in particular how small and vulnerable Buffy appears, because it's right where she is. She is small, she is vulnerable, but at the same time, she's Buffy. And so I really am so happy to have Georges back. Alright, so moving on, we've got Desi1790. Great review. You always break things down in a fun, smart, and eloquent way. Well, Desi, I just want to say the only thing I ever want in life is to be called eloquent, so thank you. He goes on to say, wonder if they will bring back Willow's telepathy. We haven't seen that in a while. Willow and the Wiccans have a bit of an advantage over the other vamps, firepower, at their fingertips. The government has a win-win situation with the safe camps. Non-humans off the streets, at the government disposal, or mayhem in the safe camps, and they start offing each other. Yeah, but on top of that, they're also using the vampires in the camps as a labor force. They're getting free labor off of these beings that they are enslaving. Like, that's what it comes down to. They're enslaving these folks, and then they're using them for labor. Free labor. I mean, sure, it costs money to, like, keep up the camps or whatever, but, I mean, not a whole lot, because it's just a bunch of, like, campers and trailers, and it looks like they're literally living in a junkyard, and so the upkeep shouldn't cost a lot. And also, just, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's really scary when you think about the fact that they are physically doing labor for the government, which, again, goes into the whole, like, prison industrial complex situation, so that's a whole thing that makes me really itchy. Last issue, you brought up the double agent Slayer and said it could be Jordan, and the intro of the new Slayer, Morgan, the name Morgan was used in Spike: A Dark Place, so it's possible the writers changed it, because I was confused when you said Morgan Slayer. Your thoughts? Did you still think it could be Jordan? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, they told us that this Slayer called Morgan was coming, and you're right. Like, we had Morgan. Yeah, the succubus, Spike: A Dark Place. No, I mean, I wouldn't be too confused. Like, I have several Rachels and Amandas that I know, and so, like, another Morgan isn't going to completely, like, blow my mind. I really don't know what the deal is. I think it's completely possible that you're right, that they didn't want to confuse the audience, but at the same time, like, just say, oh yeah, she's not the succubus from Spike: A Dark Place. Like, it's that easy, you know? So, whatever. Finally, Desi says, curious, do you collect the past BTVS comics/books like Origins, Ring of Fire, and Terra and Willow? No, I don't. I'm only interested in the canonical books, which does not include, like, the Buffy origin story of her, like, being in the nut house and escaping and, like, killing the vamps or whatever that she does in that book, because Joss has said that its canonicity is kind of up in the air as it is, even though it's more to what he would want for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer television show canon. And so no, I'm not into stories that don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather keep the story going than just go play in otherworld stories. And so I'm not into that, which is why, like, I have a bunch of the Angel IDW books that I just haven't gotten into reading because they kind of don't matter. I mean, I know that every now and then we'll, like, pluck things from the IDW continuity, but I mean, it's such a mess. It's such a mess over there in the Angel IDW books that I just, even though I have them, I can't really bring myself to read them. Maybe I'll get to it one day, maybe I'll review them one day, but as of now, And as far as the Willow telepathy bullshit, I mean, we kind of got away from that as soon as we got into Season 8, which doesn't make a shit ton of sense because now Willow's, like, super duper powerful. But I don't know. We've kind of gotten away from the inner monologue of the characters too. Like that was a big thing in season 8. Like getting the inner monologue from Buffy, getting the inner monologue from Faith, getting the inner monologue from Willow when she was in her own little side story. And yeah, like we don't even really get thought bubbles. And so I don't think that we will see the return of Willow's telepathy. It would make a shit ton of sense if we did, but I don't know why they haven't been using it. I think the thought bubble situation would just, again, clean that right up, but I don't know what we're doing with that. Laura Kinnaman, you're new, hey, says, finally, Buffy let Spike feed from her. It's a shame they had to make it awkward, though. Maybe they should have turned it into a sexual experience. Not so awkward when you're in the moment. That's gross. Let's not have Buffy, like, have this sexy time with Spike feeding on her. We already did that with Angel, and it was pretty, like, not very sexy in the first place. It's pretty scary. And I just, again, I still have super problems with Buffy sticking her neck out for Spike. It's just like, I don't like A, what it does to Buffy as a character. And B, I don't like what it does to Spike as a character. Spike, he's literally, like, staying alive off of Buffy. He can't live without Buffy. His entire identity is being propped up by Buffy. He doesn't have anything that's really his own. When Buffy is the one thing that is keeping him going, it doesn't make Spike as impressive. And I like what it does as far as, like, exploring the kind of doomed nature of their relationship, but at the same time, I want something better for Spike. Anyway, thanks, Laura. And then we've got Jessica Green. You're new too, Jessica. Hey! Who simply says, this season is so awesome. And I'm right there with you. Something that in my very first video that I ever made on this channel, I was talking about how we go from season 8 all the way through season 9 up until like the 6th issue of season 10 without Xander and Willow on the same page talking to one another alone. We got that in I Wish Part 1 way back in season 10. And again, we've gotten back into the not having Willow and Xander togetherness that we've kind of grown accustomed to, and I don't like that. Like I said in my very first video, like, part of the reason that Buffy is so amazing is because of the relationship between Xander and Willow. And sure, like, now that we're in season 11, you know, they've created a real reason to have them separated. Like, one of them is literally in prison right now. And so, it kind of infuriates me because Xander and Willow, their relationship is so very much their own. It doesn't rely on Buffy. It doesn't rely on anybody else because they've known each other longer than any two characters in our, you know, human cast. Say what you will about Angel and Spike. You could argue that they never even really liked each other when they were vampires. And so, that relationship is very important and special to me, and I hate that we've been ignoring it for basically 4 seasons now. It's ishy, and I need it to not be the case. And last, we are going to talk about what Pilar says in a separate comment, which is about predictions. Do you imagine Harmony and Andrew together as the main heroes this season? I don't, but Ken did send me a copy or an image of the cover for issue number 8, which appears to have Faith back in the mix with Buffy, possibly in the not an internment camp. And so he brought up the idea that perhaps this is what Andrew went to go and do to kind of, you know, he went to Italy, and so he's over in Europe. It's not far to take a plane trip to England to get Faith in the mix and let her know what's going on. Although, you can't not know what's going on. Like, the same way that we know about what's going on with friggin' Brexit, and they know what's going on with Trump. Like, everybody in the world has got to know what's going on. And so, I mean, it's feasible that Andrew could have gone to, like, motivate Faith to come into the fold, but he and Faith haven't spent very much time at all together. And as far as like Andrew and Harmony working together, that's actually not a terrible idea, but at the same time, I don't know that we're going to see much of Andrew until like the very end, if at all. Which again kind of sucks because they just shuffled him off as soon as he came out, but what can you do, Planet Earth? What can you do? Oh, and I don't know what happened to this one comment, but it's gone, and it was my favorite comment. I don't know if you deleted it or if you deleted your account or what the heck, but somebody was like, "How dare you use this image as your video thumbnail? The Spike and Buffy kissing." She was like, "How dare you? Don't become a Spuffy. Don't let them brainwash you." Something like this. I can't tell you what it actually said because, like I said, it's gone now, but I thought it was hilarious. And the reason that I had to use that one is because I wasn't able to get my physical copies on time, and so I had to just grab screenshots from the digital copy, and so that's why I just had to use that image. But yeah, Planet Earth, that's pretty much all we got for today. Be back tomorrow with Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, Issue number 5. I think it's going to be like Willow-centric, at least she's on the cover, so we'll see how that goes. I'm Preston L. Young, and we're having a great 2017 so far. Everybody, you can come right back here to the Buffington Post anytime for Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews, Angel and Faith reviews, Buffyverse discussions on the other Slayers, and more. Oh, and Angel and Illyria cruising through time reviews also. That's the thing. Have yourself a great day today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
My BFF. Joe? 730.